Hello there, and welcome to G Women Voices of Influence, where we celebrate women who are creating impact, inspiring change, and leaving a lasting legacy through their work and their voices. My name is Frankie Picasso, and I apologize for our delay today, but live is live. And it's okay. Today I have the pleasure of welcoming and introducing you to a wonderful woman, Shirley Enebrad. Shirley is an award-winning television producer and writer. She's an investigative journalist, author, grief recovery specialist, podcast host, and advocate whose life has been dedicated to truth, healing, and hope. Her documentary, Troubled Waters, helped bring about 11 laws protecting North Carolina's coastal waters, while her investigative reporting contributed to the release of an innocent woman serving a life sentence. As a mother who navigated the unimaginable journey of having 2 children diagnosed with leukemia and a breast cancer survivor herself, Shirley has transformed personal adversity into a mission of service and support for others. Today, through her podcast, Talk Stories with Shirley Enebrad, her grief recovering workshops, her writing, and her volunteer work with the American Cancer Society, Shirley continues to help people find strength, healing, and meaning through life's greatest challenges. Welcome, Shirley. Can you hear me? You're on mute, Shirley. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
I still can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
I don't know what's wrong. Because I could hear Alex.
Oh, no.
Help.
Help is right. I'm so sorry. I hope everybody else can hear me.
I don't know what to do.
Okay, let me just check my wheel. My audio is working. Hello, testing. Yes, it's working. So I'm not really sure. I apologize, everybody, if you are hearing me. Shirley, check the little setting wheel at the bottom, the gear. It's one of these situations, what can will go wrong.
Can you hear me now?
Please just,
I
can
still
hear
can't
you.
hear you. I don't know what to do.
You can't hear me. All right. I'm not sure what to do either. Folks, just give us a second and stick around. We'll be back. You can hear both of us?
You're watching G Woman TV for the global woman. Gifted, genius, game changer.
Shirley, can you hear me yet?
I still can't hear. Mute mic. Frankie, can you hear me?
I can.
I can't hear you, though.
You can't hear me.
Alexa, Corrigy Miguel.
They're telling me they can hear us on the other end, though. Awesome. Thank you, Alla. We're going to work through this problem. We're women and we can do it. Just give us a second. I'm so sorry, everybody. Thank you for hanging in there, though. It's okay. We'll figure it all out. It's interesting how imagine probably 10 years ago, this might have derailed me and taken me right. Oh my God. But it's okay. You know what? You get used to it. And I'm really glad that you guys are waiting in the chat room for us and talking to us. I'm really glad that you're here and joining us. And Shirley's such an amazing woman to listen to, so I appreciate you guys sticking around. We have a time difference of 3 hours. She's Pacific time, so I think that was our first little blip. They are Clara. Absolutely. Unfortunately, when your guests can't hear your questions, it makes it difficult to do an interview. Can you hear me? Shirley, you're on mute. Oh, you're on mute to me, but hi.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Let's get back on track here.
I'm so sorry.
That was a wonderful introduction to Shirley. I'm going to take you now. And we got very kind people who are listening, and they're waiting for you. So, your origin story. Every influential woman has a beginning. So can you take us back to your beginning, the defining moments that shaped your values and set you on the path that you're on today?
Oh my goodness. Well, I grew up in a home with, let me just change something real fast. And I grew up in a home with 5 brothers and a longshoreman for a dad and a very passive mother. And it was sort of a forced education and survival. So ever since then, I've had so many life challenges. And because of my upbringing and how difficult it was, I have been able to manage, I think, fairly well, all of the things that have been thrown my way. And, from having a sick child, a bad choice of marriage, and then a house that burned down, another sick child, a husband who had
extraordinarily resilient.
All within the last 6 years have been life-changing. But I managed all of it, and the only residual effect I've had is I have a cortisol belly.
We can forgive you that belly, I'm sure.
Yeah.
At our age, who doesn't have one?
Right.
Yeah. So, Shirley, I'm going to ask you about the influencer behind the influencer. I think I might even know the answer to this, but who has been one of the most influential people in your life? And what lessons or qualities from them continue to guide you today?
I think the most influential person in my life was my little boy. He gave me the strength and the life lessons to make sense out of his death. And he put me on my path to help others, and really gave my life purpose. He told me that I was supposed to help Elizabeth Kubler-Ross teach people not to be afraid of death, and to also help other parents mostly, but other people not to be afraid of death and to get through their grief. So he really did. He claimed that was the whole reason that he came to me as my child and then got sick, was to put me on my path. And he did that, in fact, very, very succinctly.
Shirley, your book was titled Over the Rainbow Bridge. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
Absolutely fabulous book. And if you haven't read it, I suggest you go and read it, because it's just a fascinating read. It's probably my favorite book I've ever read.
Oh, thank you. I'll have to send you
Overcoming challenges. I mean, you've had a lot of challenges. We just talked about a few. But your journey, has included personal loss, advocacy, investigative journalism, health challenges. What has been one of the greatest obstacles, and what did that teach you about resilience and perseverance? And maybe you already answered that too.
I think one of the biggest obstacles actually was surviving his death, and but then making sense out of it, because through his wisdom and what he taught me helped a lot. But helping other people deal with a similar situation, losing a child or any loved one, has really made my life. I don't know. I still get cards and messages from people thanking me for helping them years ago, and that helps me feel like his life wasn't in vain. And then they read my book about him and learn not to be afraid. And that has a lot of significance, and it made me have a sense of resilience and confidence, knowing that what he taught me I could pass on to other people and help them.
You had extraordinary conversations with Corey before he passed. I think conversations, I don't know anybody else who might have been able to have a conversation like that. So would you say that you're able to give other parents who have, lost a child, the benefit, from your education that he gave you, but in that sense of it will be okay, but how do you get past, how do you move on?
You have to just do it one step at a time. People think that there's a set process and to grief, and there's not. Every day's different. Some days you're a big puddle, and another day, you're doing your thing. But they have to realize that it's one step at a time, and sometimes it's 5 steps forward and 5 steps back, and not to judge themselves, and to just know that at some point there is going to be acceptance. The grief never goes away. That's one thing that people don't realize, is that it's always going to be with you. It's not always going to be as painful as it is in the beginning, though.
Let's talk a little bit about impact and transformation. Whether through your storytelling, grief recovery, or advocacy, your work has touched countless lives. And I know that because you've helped me. What impact are you most proud of creating, and why does that work matter so deeply to you?
Well, I actually, I think that of course, the grief work, but I've also helped a young woman get out of prison who had been falsely accused and falsely prosecuted, and got life without the possibility of parole. And so my work in television gives me a lot of satisfaction knowing that I helped. I did a documentary about the degradation of the coastal waters in North Carolina back in the 80s. And it resulted in 11 laws being passed to protect the water and the environment. And
that's incredible. Did that have anything to do with your dad being a longshoreman?
No, it was just an assignment from the head of the station. The funny part was he had just bought a place on the ocean, and I always felt like he almost wanted to close the door behind him. Like it's okay for him to go live on the ocean and build a house there, but he didn't want anybody else to do that. So anyway, he'll never see this, so I'm not worried. But it was really satisfying to do an hour-long program that had such an impact. And it had such an impact that we got Walter Cronkite to come down to North Carolina, and he gave a speech at NC State, and it was the cornerstone of this statewide project. And then, as I said, it resulted in 11 laws being passed. But his entire speech was taken from my documentary.
Wow.
So afterwards, I said to him, so do I get to put speechwriter for Walter Cronkite on my resume now? And he said, was that taken from your resume? I said, word for word. He goes, well, I'm going to have a chat with my staff. He says, but you can go ahead and put that on your resume.
I love that. People just absolutely love Walter Cronkite. Some of what you're sharing resonates with me, Shirley, as I've experienced grief intimately, having lost not one, but two of my sisters on the same day. Oh,
Oh,
Clara, I'm so sorry. I had no idea.
no, I'm so sorry.
I'm so proud of how you have managed to navigate through your pain and are using it to help others. That speaks of inner strength. Shirley, you've got, I think, what, two or three books on grief?
I've got, well, two, and then one on what to do with the devastating diagnosis. And then I have one coming out soon about growing up in a chaotic, abusive household that I hope will help people that are experiencing domestic violence as children, and then how it affects them as adults. And that one I think will have an impact. I really hope it does.
I know you've done a lot of advocacy work, and this isn't one of my questions, but thinking about the coastal waters and the 11 laws that were passed, do you have it in you to do it again? You're from Hawaii, and Trump just opened up the waters to fish.
I know. I retired from TV when I moved to Maui because there was no TV stations on that island. But I'm a dinosaur now. Somebody told me that when I moved to San Diego, oh, there's a job at one of the stations there. And I said, now they expect you to be able to produce it and edit it. I'm not very adept at machines. I can barely drive a car. So I'm retired. I wouldn't mind writing it for somebody.
Well, now that G Woman Media has a TV station, I think maybe we can help you there.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So women's
I'd be
voices
happy.
in leadership. Oh, okay. Let's talk about it.
Yeah,
So
I'd be
at
happy
G
to
Woman
produce something.
sounds like a plan. We believe in amplifying women's voices here. So
There we go.
what, in your opinion, why is it so important for women to share their stories and to step into leadership, especially during times of adversity and transition?
Well, women represent, at least half of the population of the world, and our input is important. It has, we're in a situation right now, and unfortunately, luckily for you, you're in Canada, but we're in a situation right now where they're trying to put women back in the box, like back from the 40s and 50s. And it's more important now than ever to speak up and be heard, because we're not going backwards. We're not doing that. And we can't allow that to happen for future generations. I mean, as far as like Roe v. Wade, even,
Yeah,
I marched for that,
me too.
And I want my granddaughter to be able to get the services and the help that she needs, and to get the respect that she deserves, and not to be denied that just because she's female. So yeah, it's very important for women to get out there and walk the walk and talk the talk.
I couldn't agree with you more. Let's talk about legacy and the future. So when people look back on your life and your work years from now, what do you hope that they're going to remember, and what legacy do you hope to leave behind?
Well, I think mostly that I helped where I could. That is really what aloha means. My grandfather taught me that you help where you can. If you can help, you should help. And so that's why we've taken in foster children and done grief workshops. And I don't charge for those. Ordinarily, if it's someplace else, though, I would charge for the transportation stuff, but I do that as a community service. So helping other people.
I know you help a lot of people and you don't talk about it. It's very silent.
Yeah, I don't feel the need to thump my chest about it, but I'm here to help for whenever people need it. After the fire on my island, I went back several times and did grief workshops and tried to help my previous clients get through the situation. It was not easy because I had lost my home.
Yeah, you lost your home.
And one of my tenants too. I mean, my
Oh
husband
my
still
gosh.
has nightmares about our tenant that died in our house. So it's my legacy, I think, and I kind of fostered that for my children, is that aloha means love, and it means helping when you can.
I love that. Shirley, what advice would you give to women who, or a woman who's currently facing grief, loss, illness, a major transition, and wondering how she's going to find that strength to move forward?
I had a client who was ill, and she'd been ill for a number of years. They couldn't figure out what was wrong with her. And then she got cancer, like a really rare cancer I'd never heard of before. And she just figured she was going to die because she had like a 30% chance of survival. And she lived in the islands where, medical's not that great. But she just wanted to paddle out in the ocean and then slide off her board. And I told her, you could do that if you want, if you think that that's all you can do. I said, or you can choose to put one step forward at a time and get on with your life and try to create meaning, from your life. And I know that living with that kind of fear is paralyzing, but it doesn't have to be, You can get support and you can get, I have to take something back. All of her friends had abandoned her, and her family lived someplace on the mainland, and they weren't supportive at all. But, there was enough people around that she could connect or reconnect with. And so I encouraged her to do that so that she would have people to fall back on and people to talk to. But if you close yourself off and say, well, this is it, then that's what's going to happen, you know. But if you know that you need to move on and get help, then you can. So you just have to have that determination to get through it.
They say that whether you're sick or not, having a community like we have extends your life.
Oh,
women
absolutely.
need a community. And men, we all do, but especially women, we need a community to talk to. And
women are talkers,
We're talkers.
Men go silent when they need help, which is kind of sad really for them. But being part of the G Woman collective, I also joined the women's club here, the local women's club. And now I find myself on the board, and I really didn't want that. But I'm in charge of membership recruitment and
awesome
and retention. And it's so, it's so true. Women need each other. And I love that my daughters have followed my example and have like really strong friendship circles. Especially my daughter that's been ill.
Oh, yeah.
Her friends have helped her get through the worst of it.
I'm just looking at some of the comments in the chat room here. People have said not many people realize how devastating and traumatic it is to lose one's home in a fire. And, it really is traumatic because everything, your pictures, your life, your memories, it's all gone. You can't get those back.
That's just rubble. And we had to leave so quick after my daughter was diagnosed that we left almost everything there, we left the food in the refrigerator and in the freezer and the aspirin in the cupboard. And we just stored like clothing and other like artwork and stuff in the storage unit. And because we had 2 storage units and then storage under the stairs and in the attic. Well, it's all gone, And there's stuff that I so regret having left behind, like especially artwork that can't be replaced. But it's hard. And then, losing a person, knowing that somebody died in your house is very difficult to deal with on an emotional level. My husband's a psychologist and, he struggles with that.
And it's not like, you didn't put her in the house. You didn't know a fire was going to, it's not your fault or anything.
She had several chances to evacuate and chose not to, but, it was her mistake. But just when my husband saw the remains of the house and the big red X on the wall, that's one of the walls that survived, which was made out of brick, that really made his heart stop, because that was a signal that someone had died there.
Oh, wow. Well, thank God they had you. Shirley's message to women struggling with grief: put one step forward at a time, get on with your life, create meaning from your life, and get support if you have to. Great advice. The best advice, of course. It's coming from Shirley.
Look for girlfriends. Find girlfriends.
Yeah.
Find the G women.
And underwear. Because I did that interview with you before, a couple of months ago. And the biggest thing that women especially, they need underwear. Like you go to a shelter, there's no underwear.
Right? Well, and when everybody's house burns at the same time and they all rush to the store, there's nothing left.
Yeah.
Especially on an island that doesn't have that many stores. So, yeah, gotta
Isn't
stock
it?
up
I mean,
on
and the
onions.
first thing that goes is toilet paper, which is kind of funny. So important.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for jumping in today. I really do appreciate it. Thank you all for joining us in the chat room. We appreciate you and those who are going to listen after. A woman with a voice, she influences her world, but a woman with a platform changes it. This has been a G Woman Media Voices of Influence show, and I've been your host, Frankie Picasso. Thank you for staying.